Let's solve homework exercise number 13 from section 3.7. Translate each argument into symbolic form, then determine whether the argument is valid or invalid. Okay, so if it was a reasonably priced dress, so I guess everything starts with P, so we'll say that is P. Then I would have bought it, which we'll say is Q. It is not, meaning it is not reasonably priced. Okay, you're assuming it is not reasonably priced, right? Even though I don't say it. So that is negation of P. Therefore, so I did not buy it, which is what? Therefore, not Q. Okay, so there's the symbolization. So if P, then Q, you got not P, therefore not Q. So then B is obviously the one that matches. Now, is this argument valid? On page 186, one of the invalid arguments, standard forms, is if you've got if P then Q and you got the negation of P, if you try and include the negation of Q, you can't. This is invalid. It's the misuse of the inverse, misuse of the inverse, or fallacy of the inverse, because the inverse is not logically equivalent to the original conditional, so you can't negate. So if you got if P then Q, you can't assume not P implies not Q. So since this follows the format of one of the invalid arguments on page 186 of the textbook, we know that the argument is definitely invalid. Okay? All right, so again, the first part is the matching of the symbolic form is B, and then we know that the argument is invalid because it matches one of the invalid forms on page 186 of the textbook. All right. Translate the following argument in symbolic form and determine whether it's valid or invalid. If I start the diet, which is P, it tells you that's definitely P, then I'll lose weight. So with the word if, you assume it's an if-then, so the word then, even though it's not there, you assume then I'll lose weight, which is Q, right? P, right arrow Q. I didn't lose weight, which is what? The negation of this statement, which is Q, negation of Q. Therefore, I didn't start the diet, which is what? If P starts the diet, I didn't start the diet as negation of P. Okay, now again, there's a symbolic form. And again, on page 186 of the textbook, one of the valid forms is the law of contraposition. If you got if P then Q, and you got the negation of Q, the then part, then you can conclude the negation of P, which is the if part. This is one of the four valid. We got our premises matches exactly, so we can definitely, the whole argument matches, so we know that the argument is valid because it matches the law of contraposition on page 186 of the textbook. It matches one of the four valid. Okay? So we definitely know it's valid. We don't have to do a truth table. So now again, we've got the first statement was P, and then it was a right arrow, right? If P, then Q, and then we had what? Negation of Q, right? If I don't lose weight, and then the conclusion was the negation of P. Okay, all right, and then again, it matched one of the valid forms. So the argument is definitely valid. Okay, that concludes homework exercise number 14, which concludes all the problems for section 3.7. I hope you found these videos helpful. This is your math instructor, Dr. Swears. If you still need more help, contact me using the inbox through the Canvas course. Send me an email with your questions, and I will respond with helpful information. Again, thank you for watching these videos. I hope they've been helpful. Thank you. Bye-bye.